The rest just have to be explained. All right, so let's go. If a rectangular room is 3 times as long as it's wide, and if the width is 8 times 8 feet, how many square feet of a carpet are needed to cover the floor? All right, so as soon as they say rectangular room, right, I'm drawing a rectangle. Did you do a rectangle? You did. Okay. 3 times as long as it's wide, and then they say right away what the width is. You know, it's not even a mystery. So if the width is 8 and it's 3 times longer, then like the length is longer than the width, so it's going to be 24. Why? 8 times 3. You put the 3 like for the length, but they say 3 times as long.
Oh, okay.
And how many square feet of the cupboard is needed? So, and now they say how many square feet. That means that how, like the area.
So you gotta multiply 24 by
Yeah, 24. Yeah.
Yeah, 100. Mistake.
Okay. Next, number 63, a percentage question. So let's see. Jordy's class has between 30 to 41 students. Exactly 75% of the students in her class have red book bags, and exactly 1/6 of the students in her class do not have a book bag at all. Okay. How many students are in Jordy's class? Okay, so they say, so we don't know how many students, right? We only know that it's in between 30 to 41. And now the question is, how do we find the number, right? I think that since they say exactly 75%, I think, and do you know what's the 75 in fraction form?
0.75.
No, that's in decimal.
75 over 100.
Which is, if we go
3/4.
3/4, that's correct, 3/4. And so they say that 3/4 have like let's say a book bag, and 1/6 do not, right? So technically, we need to find a number that's a factor of 4 and the 6 at the same time. Otherwise, they won't divide. We cannot have, like, let's say, a half of a student. You know what I mean? So, yeah, but out of those.
Oh, okay.
So 36, I think 36 is the only one. Look, 32 is divisible by 4, but not by 6. 34 is not divisible by any of them. 36 does. 38, none, right? And 40 only divisible by 4. So that means that we can get exactly 3/4 only out of 36, and exactly 1/6 also only out of the 36.
So it doesn't have to do anything about 30 to 41 students?
Well, it's in between, right?
Oh.
So yeah, we technically don't, like, we use it, you know, but how? Like, by knowing that it's in between that, you know what I mean? So so that's how it is. So this question is not about finding how many. This question is about thinking what number I can take 75% off and get a whole answer. And at the same time, that number has to be also divisible by 6 to get 1/6 out of it. Okay? All right, moving on, 64. Well, 64, I would want you to get right 100% of the time, because, like, if not now, then it's from now on for sure. All right, so when we have two angles standing on the same line like that, like imagine that this doesn't exist, right?
Yeah.
What do we have? We have like that, right?
Yeah.
We have this situation. If this is 53, the other angle must be 180 minus 53. So this angle and the angle over here on the other side, they add up to 180. So since they add up to 180, we have to subtract 180 minus 53 to get the angle y. Does it make sense? It's like, it's a very easy rule. So it's a 127. All right, so this is 127. So now how to find x? The same way. Well, there are two ways. Both of them are easy. The other way is to realize that if we don't have this situation is identical to the one that we just had, is just sideways, right? If this angle is 53, this angle must with the one that we know, with this one, must add up to 180. Basically, straight line is 180 degrees. And if you split it, both of the sides must add up to it. So it's also going to be 127. Another way is to know what vertical angles are, because angle y and angle x are called vertical angles. Vertical means that if you have like a cross like this, right? This angle equals to this one, and this angle equals to that one. Okay?
Yeah, that's what I did.
So what happened then?
I just didn't know how to get X and Y.
No, you got 127, but they're saying what is the sum of x and y? Sum.
So I have to add them.
Yeah, 127 and 127,
Okay.
which is we don't have to count, right?
No.
Like that's the thing about doing SHSAT fast. Like you don't have to count. Like you don't have to be like, what is it? No. 254. That's it. I know that it's going to be bigger than this, right? So there's only one answer. All right. 65 is surprisingly the question that you got right, which is kind of like hard. So we're moving on to question number 66. Okay. Question number 66. Let's go. So we have to multiply. What do we have to multiply? Decimals that have been put into fractions, right? And how do we do it? First of all, we have to look at the answer. The answer choices are all either decimals or whole numbers, right?
Yeah.
So one thing is to realize for us that dividing by 0.1 is actually multiplying by 10. Maybe it's not as obvious, but you know what? I just thought of a better way. What if we actually transform everything into actually a proper fraction? Let me tell you what I mean. We are allowed to multiply any fraction by anything we want as long as we multiply top and the bottom. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So this one has 1 decimal point, this one 2. So if I multiply this by 10 and this by 10, I will technically have 45 over 1. You see?
Oh, okay.
So which is 45, right?
Yeah.
And now we have to multiply it by 22 hundredths, right? We have to multiply it by 22 hundredths, which from here we're going to have to... By the way, what is 22 hundredths approximately? 22%, 1/5, right?
Yeah.
What is 1/5 of 45? Do we really have to multiply? We can choose the correct answer. 1/5 of 45. Technically 45 divided by 5.
It's 9.9.
Yeah. So the answer has to be around 9, right?
Yeah. We could already eliminate J and K because it's way too high.
Yeah.
We could eliminate F and G because it's too low.
Well, exactly. That's why I'm saying. Most of the time you don't even have to count. If you know how to estimate, well, you don't have to count in a lot of times. I understand if the answers will be 9.9, 9.8, 9.7, you know what I mean? Then you have to kind of be very precise. But over here, you don't have to. And let's say if you're not sure, then start reducing. Like let's say reduce this by 2. This is going to be 11, this is going to be 50, right? Now reduce 45 and 50 by 5. This is going to be 9, this is going to be 10. So technically, I'm going to have 9 times 11, which is 99, right? Divided by 1 times 10, which is 10. What is 99 divided by 10? 9.9. Maybe this was even faster than guessing. I don't know. All right, the next question you got right, and the one after that too. And we're going to a big question. Question number 69. Let's go. A merry-go-round has 25 horses. A merry-go-round has 25 horses. Each horse is labeled consecutively with a letter from A to Y. The first horse is labeled A and the second horse is labeled B, and so on. Well, makes sense, right? So a child walks around the merry-go-round starting at the horse A and continuing alphabet order, counting as she goes. She stops at the 337th horse. What is the letter of that horse? I think for that we need to know how many letters are in the alphabet.
26, but since it doesn't have a Z, it's 25.
Okay, yeah, very good. So what went wrong then? Okay, so 337, and you divided by 25, right?
Yeah.
So
It's
it goes
13,
once, 25.
13 and a lot of decimals, so I just stopped
Hold
at
on,
the 13th
1,
letter.
13 minus 5, 8, 80, 87. Yeah, you just didn't know how to finish this. So 75, and what's the remainder? 12, right?
Yeah.
So that means that in, like, let's say in 30 full alphabets, right? She's gonna start at A again, right? And go 12 more times.
Oh.
That's it. So if this is 1, so you just have to count A, B, C, D, E, F, G,
L.
H, I, J, K, L. Yeah, that's the answer. That's how it works.
That was one letter away. I like rounded up.
Yeah, I understand. You tried to guess. Almost. Well, by the way, did I tell you that if you actually pay attention, in 2011, there were 5 answer choices. Right now, you have 4.
Oh,
You have 4 right now.
so it's easier.
Right now, it's easier. Before, it had 5 answer choices. So your guess is not 25%. Your guess is 20% chance. Okay? All right, so this is how you do it. This is how you do it. You start from the beginning and then count your remainder. Okay?
Yeah, I know how to do this, but I just like round up.
Okay. Number 72. How many integers between 75 and 105 have a remainder of 2 when divided by 15? Interesting. All right, so if 75 is divided by 15, there is no remainder. Is that right?
Yeah.
So it means that the next number is 77. Is that right? Wait, that has a remainder 2.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be a whole answer plus 2, right? So from here, you can add on 15, and that would be always a remainder 2. Like the next one would be 90, right? If you add 15 here.
Yeah.
But with the remainder 2, it would be 92. Make sense or no? Can we fit one more? We can't, right?
No.
That's it. Just 2. Easier than it looks, right? Looks like a hard question, but it's actually it's not.
I thought it like differently. I thought like the remainder of 2. I thought it was like the result was 2, so I just did 2 times 15 and it was 30. I'm like 75 is not 30, so I just put 0.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Moving on. Number 73 got right. 74. Oh, fractions. Okay. A taxi company charges $2 per ride plus 30 cents for each of 1/5 of a mile ridden. If a taxi ride costs $20, how many miles long was the ride? Okay. In order to solve this question properly and make it so much easier, all you need to do is to find the price per mile. You know what I mean? That's what they wanted. Like, this is the only hard part of this question. 30 cents for 1/5 of a mile. You know why? Yeah, exactly. $1.50
Plus.
for one mile, right? So you start with 2, right? So it's 2 per ride, right? So technically you have to subtract 20 from 2, 2 from 20.
Yeah.
That's 18, right? And then divide it by 1.5, like $1.50 to get how many miles it's going to be. 18, or technically 180 divided by 15, because I'm already skipping a step of doing this.
Yeah, it
right?
always has to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know what
So 1, 15, 30. Okay. So does it make sense?
Yeah.
Like, don't fall for this. You know what I mean? If they give it to you like this, make it easier first and then think of solving. All right. 75. Okay, 75 is the next one. All right, so what do we do for number 75? On the number line above, JK, okay, JK, you have to mark it. JK is 3.5. And JM, the whole thing, is 9 3/4. And LM is 1 1/8. Okay. What is the position of L? Okay, in order to find the position of L, right, we need to find how long the KL is, right? Because then all we're gonna have to do, how long this is, whatever how long this is, right? We're gonna add this to 3/8 and it's gonna place us on the L. Does it make sense?
Yeah.
So how do we find how long is the KL? We have the whole thing and we have two parts, right? So what do? How do we find the whole thing?
Do you just subtract both sides? Like, I mean, do you subtract 3 1/2 and 1 1/8 from 9 3/4?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So let's make it eighths, right? Let's make all of them into denominator 8. Times 2 times 2 times 4 times 4, and this is already 8.
4 eighths.
So it's 3 and 4/8 plus 1 and 1/8, right? We can do it. We can add them first, then subtract, right?
Yeah.
So 4 and 5/8, and we're gonna subtract 9 and 6/8 minus 4 and 5/8, right? Which
5
is
and 1/8.
5 and 1/8 that we're gonna have to add to the 3/8, right? Remember I told you that we just 5 and 1/8. By the way, this is not the answer. This is a trap.
Oh.
5 and 1/8 is the distance from K to L, but not the position of L.
What does position mean?
Like where it is on the number line. Like let's say they just made it 3/8, but what if it's like, I don't know, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? And you know that where this is your K, right? And let's say you don't know that this is 6, let's say, right? This is your L. But you just found that the distance in between them is 4 units, right?
So you have to find where it is.
So we just found that this is 4 units, but we never found that like where the L is.
Oh, so it's
You understand?
5 and 1/2.
Yeah. 3/8 plus 5 and 1/8. We have 5 and 4/8, which is 5.5. The question is, do you really... The stream will end shortly? No, excellent connection, no. Oh no, there's something with our connection. All right, so the question is, do you on the test, like, do you have to really write that down or no? Probably not, no? 5 and 1/8 plus 3/8. You kind of understand that it's 5 is 4/8, which is 5.5, and you just circle it. So without even writing this down, you can get it, no?
I'm not sure. I'll just do it, like, just in case.
To make sure, right? Yeah, you're right. You're right. Okay, moving on. Moving on into, yeah. Even though our stream jumps and down, like ups and down, like there will be a still kind of like records it. You know what I mean? So here it's gonna be smooth. Okay. So, where are we at? We have 10 more minutes, let's say, right? So
Next page.
next page. Shelby's.
Did I
What
get
is-
this right?
No.
Wow, I was certain I got this right.
Really? Let's see how. But you have no work there. So what do you count it in your head?
Yeah.
Let's see. Shelby's rent is $800 per month. Since she could not pay this month's rent when due, her landlord agreed to accept 40% of the rent on the first day of the month and another 25% of the original rate on 10th, and the rest on 20th.
Can I tell you how I did it?
How much rent must Shelby pay on the 20th? Oh, yeah, well, tell me.
So what I did was, at first I found 40% because she already paid it. I mean, the landlord accepted 40%.
Yeah.
Which
How?
I found.
Yeah, how much is it?
I don't remember, like 200.
No. You have to know how to calculate this. It's 800 times 0.4, which is technically just multiplying, like let's say 8 times 4, which is 32, right? With an extra 0. 20.
Oh,
20, yeah. 320.
And then I found 25%.
320 is what she is what she paid to the landlord. She owes 800, right? She paid 320, then she paid another 25%. What is 25% of 800? It's a quarter, right? What is it? What is a quarter? What is 1/4 of 800? It's 200. So she paid 320, then she paid 200. How much is left to pay? So right now it's 520, right?
280.
These are which part, not that left of the rent. This is what she's paying. So every time she's taking away whatever this is worse than money off here, right? Off her bill. Take 320 off her bill, take 200 off her bill, what's left? Okay? That was the question. That was what was it about? Okay? 77. Well, there is no thinking here. If x is negative 2, y equals 3, what is the value of 5x minus 2? Okay. Blah, 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 blah. So, what do we do here?
Just do it.
Yeah. So you know what to do almost everywhere. Like, how's your... I mean, you just don't have... Like, you just need to get more experience. That's it. It's not on... you know what I mean?
Do you have to show work for this?
No, you don't.
Okay.
But in this case, it's easy to make a mistake. I wouldn't try to do it in my head. I can, but why risk? You know, 5 times negative 2, negative 10. Negative 2 times negative 2 is positive 4. Positive 4 times 3, positive 12. Right? That's how you write it down. Which is
2.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, because I just left the minus sign, so I did 2 times negative 2, which is negative 4.
Okay.
Negative 4 times 3.
You're right. That's like a very, very common mistake. When we try to combine like terms, we have to consider every single term separately, without thinking of negatives and positives. Like, let's say this, I don't see it as minus, and then, like you said, right, 2 times negative 2 times 3, right? I see it as negative 2 multiplied times negative 2 multiplied to positive 3. And whatever answer I'm going to have here, I'm going to put here, which was positive 12. And whatever answer I had in the beginning, I'm going to put here. And now it's just going, I just have to combine like terms, which I combine into a 2.
Okay.
All right. I want to do one more before we finish. I want to do one more. And one more question is going to be the geometry question. All right. So I don't think that they even put something like this on recent tests, but we'll do it. So what do we have here? We have, in the figure above, what is the value of x? That's it, right? So we have to find this. All right, so how do we do it? Can we maybe find... did you have any idea?
Like, I found the full square, like, I made it into like a square. Rectangle.
There is a way to do it. It's right now we actually use that in geometry class. It's called similar triangles. These triangles are similar because they're both right triangles and they have another angle that are the same, right? So technically, if we split it like into a smaller one, into a bigger one, right?
Okay.
Like this one is 4, this one is this side is 0.8, right? This side is 1 and this side is 4 plus x, okay? Then we right now can create a proportion, and proportion will look like as exactly like we see it, like 0.8 over 4, right? Like this over this equals this over that equals to 1 over 4 plus x, and that's it, and you just solve it. This times this equals this times that. Like 4 times 1, like 4, equals to 0.8 times 4 plus x. 4 equals to, we can do, yeah, 3.2. I wanted to divide both sides, but it's okay. Plus 0.8x, right? Then we subtract 3.2 from both sides, right?
It's just 1.
Yeah, it is. 0.8 equals to 0.8x. And then we divide and it's 1.
That was going to be my original.
Is there an easier way? I don't know. Do they actually use that like piece of knowledge, this kind of questions right now? I don't think so. But you'll see this type of questions when you're in 10th grade. Guaranteed.
I had the same steps, but like the right side is 0.8 and like since that side is 0.2 times bigger than like 0.2 centimeters bigger.
Like 20%. So why didn't you hold on? If it's actually not 20% technically. But I see your logic. Yeah, I see your logic. Since this kind of went into a 1, right?
Yeah.
You can kind of take 1/4 of it, right?
Yeah.
Which is 0.2. and add it, and you get this. So if you take 1/4 of this, right, it's going to be 1. Does it make sense? So why didn't you choose 1? 1/4 of 4 is 1. You just
Oh,
miscalculated. You could have gotten it right. By your logic, you could have gotten it right. Much easier than this way, I would say.
that's my original answer, but then I changed it.
All right, we're going to wrap up here. Good session. A lot of questions are done. We're going to continue next class. We're most likely going to continue over the online class or next Sunday. So for now, that will be it.